So we can start with chanting, going for refuge to the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, and observing precepts. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Please chant with me. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. To observe the 5 precepts, say after me. Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Adinadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Adinadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Kamesu michachara veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Kamesu michachara veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Musavada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Musavada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Suramere majjapama datthana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Surameraya macca pamadattana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
I observe the precept of abstaining from killing beings.
Abstaining from killing beings.
I observe the precept of abstaining from stealing.
Abstaining from stealing.
I observe the precept of abstaining from sexual misconduct.
Abstaining from sexual misconduct.
I observe the precept of abstaining from telling lies.
Abstaining from telling lies.
I observe the precept of abstaining from taking intoxicating drinks and drugs. I follow these precepts for happiness in this life, for rebirth in heaven, and to attain freedom from suffering. Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu.
Good evening, Bante. How are you?
Good evening. Good, thank you. How is everybody doing?
Good, thank you.
Bhante.
Mm-hmm.
Doing good, Bhante.
Very good, Bante.
Everybody,
Namo Buddhaya, Bante.
Udaya.
Yes.
So today, today we have a special purpose also for merit sharing. That is to share merit with Aina's passed away sister. So, and also she just passed away, I think, a few days ago, right?
Yes, Bante.
Yeah. So,
So, by the way, Bante, I would like to introduce my sister family, the son and under the name of Chandra family. I will put the spotlight so Bante can see them.
yes, I can see them.
Okay.
Namo
So
Buddhaya.
Julius Novita Novira, please namaskara to Bante.
So they joined from Indonesia.
Yes, Bante from Medan.
Okay, Suki Hotu. Suki Hotu. Yes. Normally, as the disciples of the Buddha, when our family members or relatives, friends, when they pass away, we do two things, very important, two things, and it has become a part of our culture, our tradition. The first thing is that we give Sangha Dana in memory of that passed away mother, father, sister, brother, or that relative. And we share merit with the departed relative. That is taught by the Buddha. And Buddha teaches that is the most powerful way to help our departed relatives. And in this long journey of samsara, there are many people who lived with us, who were together with us, as our parents, as our brothers and sisters, our sons, daughters. There are so many departed relatives in this long journey of samsara. So Buddha teaches that to help them, the best way to help them is to give Sangha Dana, which Aina did and shared merit. I think for breakfast yesterday, breakfast Dana, you gave the Sangha Dana?
Yes, Bante. And my sister's family also joined the Sangha Dana by offering the things that Sangha need at the temple.
In Indonesia?
No, I mean when I offer the breakfast Dana, at the same time I also bring some thing like paper towels, mask, glove that I know Bante Lakhana informed me that temple still need that. So I informed to my nephew, Julius, and they are very happy want to offer that Sangha Dana together with me.
Okay. Yeah, so that already done, right?
Yes, Bante.
So that way you can help, you can be happy that you followed the Buddha's advice and you did the right thing. So that is a very powerful thing. That is recommended by the Buddha. If we didn't know that way, like the majority of the people in the world don't know how to help our departed relatives in the beneficial way, then we would have been very unfortunate, right? But because of the Kalyana Mittas association and listening to the Dhamma, now we know that the best way to help our departed relatives is to give dana, sangha dana, and share the merit with our departed relatives. You already did that, and that is a very rare opportunity. You could live in a time period where the sangha lives in the world, and you go to the temples, monasteries, and offer the dana. So that's a very rare thing. We can be very happy thinking about that. And the second thing we do normally in Sri Lanka also, we do that. And lots of the Buddhists who understand that, the importance of that, and who follow that important tradition, do that. So that is to organize a Dhamma Dana program and share merit with the departed relative. We do that in almost every Buddhist house in Sri Lanka. After one of our relatives pass away, we organize a Dhammadana program. We invite all the villagers, our friends, families, relatives, we invite everybody. And for the Dhamma program, we invite the Bhante respectfully, and the Bhante would teach the Dhamma, and everybody listens to the Dhamma, and after that we share merit with the departed relatives. That's a part of our Buddhist culture, our Buddhist tradition. That's a powerful thing. So somebody's death means a very important reflection for everybody who are alive, right? So this is a very special opportunity for a Bhante to share the Dhamma, the teachings of the Buddha, with everybody, so that they will also understand this life is impermanent, temporary. We all live here for a very short time, and everybody dies. So it is very important to do good deeds, to make good karma. And Bhantes would emphasize the importance of keeping precepts, practicing generosity, practicing meditation, associating with Kalyana Mittas, and developing wholesome qualities. So this is a very important opportunity, beneficial opportunity for Bhantes to share these teachings with others as a reflection. So that's what we are doing here as a part of this Deep Dhamma program. We are sharing merit, and we wish to share merit with Aina's departed sister, and also, so Chandra family means
Chandra. Chandra is the last name of my my sister. Julius is my sister's son, and Juliana is Julius' wife. This is Kongo, my sister's husband. His last name is Chandra. So all the children follow the last name of Chandra. And this one is Ayu Novita, the second daughter of,
Good.
And so, the other one, the last one is Novira.
Okay, good. So everybody is happy now, should be happy because of following the Buddha's advice and trying to make merit to ourselves first, and then we can share merit with your relative, right?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So that is very important. You know, if we do unbeneficial things and like crying, weeping, and those kind of things Buddha teaches, that's not the way to help our departed relative. So that's why we should be happy that we know the correct way to share merit with our departed relatives. Okay, very good. So before we go into the sutta reading and sutta learning, do you have any questions? You can unmute your mic and ask.
I guess I can give you a question, Bante. You want one? I was just wondering about and I was thinking about this before, the loving kindness meditation, the metta meditation. All the qualities are kind of feelings or emotions: anger, ill will, jealousy, mental suffering, peace, happiness. They're all kind of in the same category, except for physical suffering. It seems to be a little different from the rest. I just wanted to get your thoughts about that, or maybe I'm thinking about physical suffering and not in the right way or something like that. It's different than all the rest, but I guess there's nothing wrong with that.
So what is your question?
I'm just wondering why physical suffering is in the mix, because I'm just wondering, like, we're focusing on the mind with the, I guess, 6 other things. We're focusing on things of the mind, but physical suffering doesn't seem to be totally about the mind. I mean, you could have a sore foot, you know, that's physical suffering. I'm just wondering, it doesn't seem to fit with all the other ones, but maybe I'm thinking about physical
No,
suffering.
it is about having compassion, like developing the thoughts of compassion towards somebody's suffering. So it's not only people suffering mentally, people suffering physically as well. So we give rise to a thought or feeling that may they be free from physical suffering. So that's a very good feeling for a human being to have. The opposite of that feeling is called Vihinsa Sankappa. Vihinsa Sankappa means the intention to injure somebody, to harm physically. So if we don't develop this thought, the wholesome thought that may they be free from physical suffering, that space of our mind will be filled with thoughts of harming.
I see. So it's
That's
more
why,
about
yeah.
it's more about the thought that we're projecting rather than what we are projecting it towards. It's the thought that we're projecting.
Yeah. That's an important thought to cultivate. May they be free from physical suffering, because the opposite is the thoughts of harming.
Right.
The people in this world who harm others, who injure others, they do that with a mind of inner hate. They like to see somebody is hurt physically. They like to see somebody is injured physically.
Yes, okay.
Those who cultivate this type of thoughts frequently, such as may they be free from physical suffering, may they be free from physical suffering, cannot harm others, cannot injure others, cannot kill others. Now you understand the importance of that phrase?
Yeah, that clarifies it, Monte. I was thinking about outwardly, but it's all about what I'm projecting. That
Correct.
Thank you, Monte.
Very good.
Bante.
Any other questions?
Yes, Bhante, to further that, so what is the difference between intent to hurt somebody out on the street and intent to hurt during a video game? How is that different?
In some
I just heard before
aspects,
that.
in some aspects, you make bad karma in both occasions. because it's about your mind. Whether you are physically going to harm somebody or whether you are not going physically, it first happens in the mind. So when this stream of thoughts of harming is happening inside the mind of somebody, it's making bad karma, generating bad karma. And the level of the bad karma will depend on how you put that thought into action. If you go out and kill somebody, injure somebody physically, then that's an increase of the level of the bad karma. So how karma works is Chetana Bhikkhave Kammang Vadami, Buddha teaches. Intention, the thought of the mind is the karma, I say. So as soon as you have that good thought or bad thought, wholesome thought or unwholesome thought, the karma is happening already. Whether you do it with your speech or action, karma is already happening. Chetanaham bhikkhave kammang vadami. You understand? While playing a video game, that thought of harming is happening inside the mind, right?
Yes, that's my question, because I've heard that there's no bad karma with playing a video game, but I just can't see how there isn't when the intention is still the seed of intention is there.
Yeah, it's all happening in the mind. Have you heard stories that the people are influenced by those kind of things and do that physically after that?
Yes, Bhante.
Yeah, people are influenced by movies and those games or whatever things they watch and read. They are influenced by those.
So
What if they were not influenced? They wouldn't do that. So that means there is a powerful impact of those kind of things.
Actually, Bhante, that young boy in Markham last year killed his mother, his father, his sister, and grandmother as a result of his addiction to those video games.
Yeah, so it's very obvious. So then we very clearly understand Chetanaham Bhikkhave Kammang Vadami, the Buddha's understanding that the intention, the thought is the karma, I say. Chetayitva Kammang Karoti Kayena Vachaya Manasaya. Having thought, somebody will make karma by body, speech, and mind. It first happens in the mind and then puts into effect by way of body, speech, and mind. You do something with your body or you say something with your words and you think more thoughts. That's how the karma is multiplied and increased and accumulated. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante.
Very good.
Bhante, quick question here. So we talk about rebirth. We also mentioned about reincarnation. Are they the same, synonymous, or any significant difference? Thank you.
How have you learned?
Well, before, when we speak about, usually the term reincarnation comes out before, but then since I'm more involved with the temple, then I started learning about rebirth. So for me, is it the same?
Maybe two different translations.
Okay, translations.
Yeah.
So they are the same.
Yeah, it's about a new life after death. Whether we call it in different names, it's about a new life after death.
Okay.
Namo Buddhaya Bante. Do we also include the physical suffering in the loving kindness meditation? Because not necessarily because we have a desire or intention to harm, but just in the recognition that suffering in this samsara, in this life, a large part of it is also physical suffering because of the decaying body. And so is it part of
the interestingly large part of the suffering is not physical.
No, but it
It's
is a
mental.
part of the...
It's mental. People are suffering mentally than physically.
So, Bante, so pretty much you're saying that you heal the mind, you heal the body, correct?
Correct.
And so is there any particular side from, if Buddha says how to heal the mind? Is it doing the loving kindness meditation, or
Developing wisdom. Developing
that is
wisdom.
that is how you heal the mind?
Yeah, developing detachment.
Mm-hmm.
Developing wholesome qualities such as loving kindness, compassion, gratitude, patience, all the good qualities. They are the best medicines to heal the mind. Good qualities.
Mm-hmm. So you heal the mind, you heal the body, you heal the heart.
Yeah, there is a very strong connection between somebody's mind and the body. And that's why Buddha taught that sutta, Nakula Pitu Sutta. In that sutta, Buddha teaches there is a Dhamma theory that one should practice. When my body is sick, my mind will not get sick. And Buddha also teaches there is a way that when somebody's mind gets sick, body also gets sick.
Is there a particular sutta for that?
Yeah, that's Nakulapitu Sutta in the Samyutta Nikaya. Did we do that in the Deep Dhamma class before?
Yes.
Linda, do you remember?
Yes, Bante. Actually, that was the first sutta Bante did after the COVID-19. Bante did that sutta from Sri Lanka. I think it's Samyutta Nikaya 22.1. Bante, is it? Kanda Samyutta Bante.
Did you find it?
22.1, I believe, Bante. I was looking for that.
Yeah, you can put it on the chat box.
Yes, I will.
Yes, so that's a very obvious thing, that when the mind, and Buddha teaches how, actually that sutta, Buddha taught the topic of the sutta to a lay person, and then he went to the Venerable Sariputta Bhante, the chief disciple of the Buddha. So then Sariputta Bhante elaborates it, saying that how somebody's mind gets sick when the body is sick. And he said, oh, I don't know, Bhante, please can you teach me? And also Bhante asked, do you know how somebody's mind is does not get sick when his body is sick? And he said, I don't know that also, Bhante, please teach me. And the Sariputta Bhante taught that it's because of our view of self and attachment to this body, attachment to feelings, perceptions, volitions, consciousness. When they change, the consciousness follows that, and we are sad, we get upset, we are troubled by it. So that is how somebody's mind gets sick when the body is sick. And if somebody maintains peace of the mind when things change, Bhante says that is the way to live the opposite way. When the body is sick, the mind is not sick. Yeah, so here we have the sutta. I can show you. Here you can see. And how is a person ailing in body and ailing in mind? You can see here, this paragraph. Right? It is when an uneducated ordinary person has not seen the noble ones and is neither skilled nor trained in the qualities of the noble one. They have not seen good persons and are neither skilled nor trained in the good qualities of a good person. So that's the nature of an ordinary person. They regard form as self, self as having form. Form means this body, okay? Yeah. Form in self or self in body. They think this body is mine, this is I am, this is myself. They think that idea, they have that. They are obsessed with that thought. They are obsessed with the thought, I am form, form is mine. That means this is my body, this is I am. But that form of, or that body of theirs decays and perishes. Perishes means dies. Somebody dies. Decays means it gets sick, it gets old, which gives rise to sorrow, lamentation, pain, sadness, and distress. So that change took place in the body. Now what happened to the ordinary person's mind? Mind changed. The change first took place in the body. Body is decaying, body is getting old, body is dying, and the mind follows that. That is how a person's ailing in body and ailing in mind. Now you can understand how the body and mind is interconnected?
Yes.
And then we go to the, it's same with the feeling. When feeling changes, it affects the mind. Perception changes, it affects the mind. Choices means thoughts. When they change, it affects the mind. When consciousness changes, it affects the mind. And why it affects the mind, why these changes always affect the mind, is because of that notion of mine, I am, myself. Okay. And then we go to the next part of the sutta. Chief disciple of the Buddha, Sariputta Banda, explains, and how is a person ailing in body and healthy in mind? Do you see the difference?
Yeah.
Before, both mind and body are ailing, are sick. But in this case, only the body is sick. See, ailing in body. But he maintains a healthy mind. Did you see that?
Yeah.
That means mind is not affected by the change that is going on in the body, going on in the feelings, perceptions, thoughts, and consciousness. That is an amazing thing, because people think this mind and body are always together. They cannot be separated, and it's like one entity. It's impossible to separate these things. But in this Dhammapath is an amazing thing, that it can do something remarkable. That change is happening in the body, feelings, and other experiences, but the mind stays the same. That should be the goal of a wise person. And how it's happening, the Bhante teaches here from the Buddha's teaching, it happens only to a wise Arya Savaka. Arya Savaka means noble disciple. That means who has an understanding about the deep Dhamma, the Four Noble Truths, cause and effect mechanism. He's the one who's going to understand that. So who is that person? It is when an educated noble disciple. See, now he has listened to the Dhamma, he has memorized the Dhamma, has seen the noble ones and is skilled and trained in the teaching of the noble ones. Teaching of the noble ones means synonym for the Buddha's teachings. They have seen good persons and are skilled and trained in the teaching of good persons. And this is the change. Okay, now is the change comes. They do not regard form as self, the body as self, the body as having the self as having body, body in self, or body in self in body. They don't think that this body is mine, this body I am. What is the reason? Because they have a very good knowledge about the Buddha's teaching. So then they are trying to understand, or they have understood to some extent, that this body is made of the parts of the nature, the basic elements, earth element, water element, fire element, and air element. Those are the four main elements that are in this body, and all those parts, the gross parts, the hard parts of the body will go back to earth and will be a part of the earth, or the liquid parts of the body will go back to water and disappear. And this heat of the body is not permanent, it will go back to the nature. The air that goes through this body is not permanent, it will go back to the nature. So there is no self here, there is no me here, there is no I am here. That is the powerful insight they are having. So then they don't regard body as self. They understand this is subject to dying, this is subject to death, this is subject to decay, this is subject to sickness. It is because there is no self. If it had a self, if it was a self, Buddha teaches, then we wouldn't get sick, body wouldn't get sick, body wouldn't die, body wouldn't get old. If there was a self, why? If there was a self, that's something that we can call mine or myself, then we can order the body. Okay, my body, this is my body. So if something is mine, it should follow my order. Hey body, don't get old, don't get sick, don't die. And Buddha proves in the Anatta Lakkana Sutta, his second discourse to the 5 monks, the group of 5 monks. Buddha teaches, in that way you can understand this is not yours. This belongs to the nature. And with that knowledge they live. The result is they are not obsessed with the thought, I am form, form is mine. That is a powerful insight. Only a very few people in this world live with that insight, lived with this insight. And always live with that insight, very few people. So when that form or the body of theirs decays and perishes, the body changes. The death means is the change of the body. Perishes, the word here. When it changes, it does not give rise to sorrow, lamentation, pain, sadness, and distress. Can you understand?
Yeah.
That is completely a new world. What is that new world? When things change, it doesn't affect that person's mind. Actually, the beautiful thing is that when this sutta was taught to this layperson by Venerable Chief Bhante, Venerable Sariputta Bhante, chief disciple of the Buddha, when Sariputta Bhante passed away, Buddha was alive, and his brother monk Chunda, and he brought Sariputta Bhante's robe and the bowl with Ananda Bhante, and they said, Bhante, this is this blessed one's chief disciple Sariputta Bhante's robe and the bowl he used. He just passed away. And Buddha noticed that Ananda Bhante was very sad because he was, by then he was just an stream enterer. He had attained the first stage of enlightenment. And his best friend after the Buddha was Sariputta Bhante. Okay?
Yeah.
And then, hold on. And then what happened was, Buddha noticed that Ananda Bhante was sad, and that Buddha asked, Ananda, don't be sad. Why are you sad? Did he, when Sariputta passed away, when the monk Sariputta passed away, did he take your precepts with him? Did he take your concentration with him? Did he take your wisdom with him? And Ananda Bhante answered, no, Bhante, but I am sad because he was a best friend, and he was a great supporter for the Sangha, very good fellow monk. He was very helpful to the community of the monks. I am thinking about his good qualities. It gives me like, that's why I am crying. He was an amazing monk, very kind monk, yeah, very helpful monk. When I think about his good qualities, I feel sad, because we no longer can see him. We no longer can follow his guidance. We don't see him now. We don't get that help from him now. And Buddha said, Ananda, it is the nature of the world. We have to be separated from loved ones. How many times I have taught you that we have to be, these are the words of the direct words of the Buddha. Haven't I taught you many, many times that we have to be separated from loved ones? Now Buddha is teaching this. Like his chief disciple has passed away. There is no change in the mind of the Buddha. Isn't that amazing? Can somebody teach this Dhamma without achieving that state, that liberation, that detachment? It's only because he realized that he can teach this way. Buddha said, everything that is conditioned, that has been born, must die. Everything that has arisen will pass away. So don't cry, Ananda. Don't be sad. Practice the Dhamma. Practice the 4 establishments of mindfulness. Be liberated from this cycle of birth and death. That's the advice of the Buddha. Now you understand? So that is, see, whatever Buddha was taught, he lived according to that word. Yathavadi tathakari, tathakari yathavadi. Whatever he speaks, he does that. Whatever he does, he speaks that. So this is his Dhamma. He taught. They don't regard feeling as self, feeling in self, or self in feeling. They are not obsessed with the thought, I am feeling, feeling is mine. So when that feeling of theirs decays and perishes, it does not give rise to sorrow, lamentation, pain, sadness, and distress. Doesn't the word of the Buddha match with his action? It always matches. So that is from that beautiful sutta. So what is the sutta? Nakula's father, Nakula Pita Sutta. And this is from the Samyutta Nikaya. Sutta 22.1. Do you like that sutta?
Yes, Bhante, it has a very profound meaning.
Yeah.
Bhante, how did they go from the thought of knowing it to seeing it and believing it through meditation? Like I can see those words and think it and go, okay, I understand them, but how do they go to actually seeing it?
Oh, you mean
Seeing
like
that the
how
body
to
is not.
experience that kind of a developed mind?
Yes.
Okay, so there are different ways, okay? And one way is just by listening. Example. Oh, we already discussed that as an example. Last time, I think it's what, Ubbari? Queen Ubbari story, didn't we learn that? She was crying over the death of her husband. And then one of the ascetics passing by saw her and told her that
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
yes,
were
in
the
the,
queen of like many kings in the past, and they all died. Why are you thinking only about the last husband and crying over, right?
43,000.
Yeah. What happened after those words? What happened to the sadness of the queen?
it disappeared, Bhante.
It disappeared. And she said, oh, after hearing those words of wisdom, my sadness disappeared. So right there, she got the answer, right? So just by listening. And there are many stories like that in the Sutta Pitaka. One time there was a king also, and that time, in this case, his queen passed away, and he was very much attached to the wife, and he didn't want to eat, he didn't want to do the ordinary things like ruling the country and all those things. And finally he went to see a monk, Arahant monk, and he taught the Dhamma to that king. It is the name of the sutta is Soka Sallaharana Sutta. It is in the Anguttara Nikaya. Soka Sallaharana means removing the arrow of sorrow. Powerful words of the Buddha. So this Bhante, Arahant Bhante, taught the teachings of the Buddha to that king. And Bhante taught that, oh great king, in this world there are things that are out of our control. When things get old, there is no one here to stop that. When things get sick, there is no one to stop. When things die, there is no one to stop. And no one is exempt from these happenings. And when things destroy, they follow that way. There is no way to stop that. And like that, Bhante taught the Dhamma. And Bhante taught ordinary people, they don't understand this. They are attached to these impermanent things. When things change, they react differently. They cry, they are sad, they get upset, they are worried. But the noble disciples understand wisely, this is the nature of the world. These are the conditioned things, and they don't cry. They understand with a balanced mind. That's all he listened to. While sitting there, he realized there was nobody in the palace to teach this to him, that the things are impermanent, subject to change. There is nobody to control this. There is nobody to stop this. There was nobody to teach this truth to him. His mind was clouded by the attachment to his wife. And that can happen to anybody. But after listening to this Dhamma talk, while sitting there, it healed the mind of the king. While sitting there, he understood the truth. And he said, "Oh, Bhante, that is amazing teaching. Now I understand." And he said, "My suffering disappeared. My suffering disappeared." And now I can go back to the normal life. And he first didn't want others to bury the body of the wife. But after listening to Dhamma, he said, "Okay, I will order my ministers to bury do the funeral for my wife." And now now I don't have that sadness in my mind just by listening. Okay, so sometimes by listening, people's minds are healed. Sometimes by practicing the path in details and over time, practicing samatha, the calming meditations, practicing vipassana, insight meditation, also listening to the Dhamma discussion, gradually that wisdom is gained. So like that, there are different ways. Somebody actually
Thank you,
shared the
Bhante.
Soka Sallaran Sutta. It's in the chat box. You can read that. Dinil, I think, yeah? Dinil shared it.
Yes, Dinil Putta is here.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway.
So that's it's the Soka Sallaran Sutta, as well as it's called Narada Sutta, the same sutta. I think Narada is the Bhante who teaches. Maybe Narada Bhante.
Oh, sorry,
Yes.
Bhante. May I ask Bhante about that following Harry's question about this reincarnation and rebirth? Is the Pali words Ponobhavika, Bhante? Is that word denote like this rebirth? Bhante?
That means the repeated existence.
Oh, okay. So it's a little bit
Ponobhavika.
different.
Ponobhavika.
Okay. Pono.
Okay, so let's go to a sutta reading from Vimana Vatthu. Who is going to read this? This is from suttafriends.org, from Khuddaka Nikaya, from Vimana Vatthu. Any Kalyanamitas to read?
And read Bhante.
Okay.
Okay. Vimana Vatthu, Lakhuma Sutta, Lakhuma's mansion. A Deva explains how she attained the fruit of one's return. Kalana Bhante. Devata, you are in this Chitalata park, surrounded by many goddesses, as if you were the god Sakka. Your beauty shines in all directions, like the bright star named Vasati. What are the meritorious deeds that led to this happiness? Tell me, Devata, what kind of meritorious actions did you do when you were in the human world to have gained this beauty that shines in all directions and to have earned all these wonderful things?
Okay, good. We rejoice in your reading. Another Kalyanamita to continue.
Bhante, I can try.
Okay.
Devata. Bhante, in the human, is that where? That Devata, delighted at being questioned by Arahan Moggallana, gladly explained what she had done that resulted in such great happiness. Devata. Bhante, in the human world, my house was located in a fishing village. Some of the Supreme Buddha's monks visited that area for alms round. With a happy mind, I offered rice, honey-covered cake, vegetables, and rice gruel to those virtuous monks who were dedicated to Dhamma practice. I was eager to observe the 8 precepts 4 times a month on each of the 4 moon phases. I led a restrained life and was very generous. I abstained from killing, stealing, lying, and taking intoxicants. I did not cheat on my husband. I was delighted to keep these 5 precepts every day. I was a lay follower of Gautama Supreme Buddha, the one who had the great wisdom to see the reality of the world. I was wise enough to realize the 4 noble truths.
Okay, sadhu sadhu. We rejoice in your reading. Another Kalyanamitta to continue?
Bhante, can I try?
Okay.
Because of my virtuous life and meritorious deeds, I live happily here. I have been born as a very beautiful Devata and enjoy all the wonderful things that delight my heart. Great Bhante, those were the meritorious deeds I did to have such a beautiful body that shines in all directions.
Go ahead. Yeah, keep reading.
Please, Bhante, pay homage on my behalf by placing your head on the Blessed One's feet and saying, Bhante, the lay follower named Lakhuma pays homage by placing her head on the Blessed One's feet. The Blessed One stated that I have attained a certain fruit of enlightenment. I too know that. Bhante, the Supreme Buddha declared that I have attained the fruit of one's return.
Sadhu sadhu. We rejoice in your reading. So did all of you see the qualities to attain one's returner? So what is one's returner? The one's returner has removed the 3 laws of fetters. First, identity view. Second, doubt. Third, distorted grasp of rules and vows. That has weakened the next 2, sense desire and ill will. So one's returner means which stage of enlightenment?
The second stage of
That is the
enlightenment.
second stage of enlightenment. So when the Buddha was alive, she was very wise. This Lakhuma, this lady, maybe a girl, maybe a daughter, or and she was very lucky to attain the second stage of enlightenment. And what are the good qualities she practiced? And as a result, she became a one's returner. You can compare with your qualities. What did she do?
Generosity.
Practice generosity, offering all these things to the monks. And she had confidence in the Dhamma Sangha, respected the Sangha. She was very generous. Okay, so that's one quality. What is the second quality?
The 8 precepts 4 times a month.
So, what do you think? Can you attain the second stage of enlightenment?
Yes.
We will try, Bhante.
We can try. Yes.
Okay, so you have to observe 8 precepts. She observed 8 precepts 4 times a month, not only 1 time a month, right? So that is why we have 8 precepts program, seal program. We have, I think is it first Sunday of every month?
Yes, Bhante.
Yes, it is Bhante.
Yes, so that is why we have those programs. But she observed 8 precepts, higher precepts, she observed higher precepts on 4 days, 4 times a month, and otherwise she would keep 5 precepts in other days. And she led a restrained life. That means she practiced sense restraint. very like wholesome way of living, without like guarding the doors of eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind, restrained life, that she would not let unwholesome things enter through these sense bases and damage the peace of her mind. That's the restrained life, and was very generous. What are the other qualities she practiced? She practiced?
Abstain from killing,
Right
stealing,
precepts.
lying, and taking intoxicants.
And also abstain from sexual misconduct. 5 precepts, right?
Yes.
Every day. Okay. Now you think you can attain stages of enlightenment?
Gradually.
Gradually. That's a good answer. And what are the other qualities? She was a lay follower of the Supreme Buddha who had great wisdom and to see the reality of the world. So that means faith, confidence in the Buddha. That's a very important thing in the path, because you need to have that confidence in the person who guides you. So in this case, Buddha, as the extraordinary teacher, is guiding you. Like if you don't have the confidence in somebody who guides you for something, maybe for driving, somebody guides you, somebody trains you, or for some other thing, if you don't have the confidence, everybody knows that it's not a successful journey, because you don't respect the person who teaches you. So that's not a good quality of a good student. So now here in this case, Buddha is guiding us to escape from all suffering. Shouldn't we be very grateful to the Buddha?
Yes, Bhante.
She had that gratitude. She had that confidence. That's why she says like this. And what are the other qualities she had?
You realize Four Noble Truths.
She realized the Four Noble Truths. That is very important as a lay person. She realized the Four Noble Truths. She realized, what are the Four Noble Truths?
Sufferings, origin of sufferings, cessation of sufferings, and the ways to solve the cessation of sufferings
the
by
path to end suffering,
8
noble
noble
eightfold path.
paths.
So that is the deep teaching of the Buddha, the core of the Buddha's teaching, and she realized it as a layperson. Because some people say, oh, it is very hard to realize the Four Noble Truths, you know, it is only for monks and nuns. We are lay people. We are living a worldly life. You know. No, that's not true. So following all these good qualities, these are the basic qualities, and she attained the first stage of enlightenment. And she's very grateful. And now she's in heaven, right? And Moggallana Bhante saw her. And now she asked Moggallana Bhante, Bhante, when you go to the human world, please pay homage on my behalf by placing your head on the Blessed One's feet, saying that Lakhuma, Blessed One's slave follower, worships you, worships the Blessed One's feet. Isn't that beautiful?
Yes, Bhante.
Yes.
So that means she passed away before the Buddha. Buddha is still alive, right, at that time, and she was in heaven. You know, people die in any age, right? So she passed away before the Buddha passed away. And Moggallana Bhante usually visits heaven and meets gods and goddesses and bring those stories to the human world and shares with others, so the people are encouraged. Those are the stories you see in the Vimana. So that is Lakhuma's story. Will you have a story like that one day? Huh?
Like Harry said, gradually, Bhante.
We hope.
Gradually.
Yeah. Very fortunate people, you know. They escape from hell, animal world, ghost world, because of practicing those good qualities. Now you saw the good qualities. Some people say they don't understand properly. They say, oh, no need to take 8 precepts, you know. Precepts are not important. Meditation is the most important thing. Some people say things like that. See the truth. Read the Dhamma. Generosity, some people say, oh, generosity, merit, no important. Only Vipassana. The people who attain the stages of enlightenment never talk like that. They praise generosity, they praise faith, they praise confidence, they praise 5 precepts, they praise 8 precepts, they praise samatha, they praise vipassana, they praise the Noble Eightfold Path. It's very different. They praise paying homage to the relics of the Buddha, they praise the worshipping the stupas. That is the difference of the people who have attained the stages of enlightenment. We read these things always. They never belittle those things. If your mind belittles those things, or no need to worship these stupas, no need to make merit, and those kind of things, then you understand, oh, I haven't attained stages of enlightenment, so I have to work hard. Isn't that a good way to think? Yeah, it's the people who attain it, stages of enlightenment never do that. Okay, so I'm going to chant verses of blessings. Abhivadana Silis, Nichang Vada Pachayano, Chattaro Dhamma Vardabhi, Ayuvano Sukambala, Ayuraro Sampatti, Sagga Sampatti Miyaj, Atoni Bar Sampatti, Iminate Samijatu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
To worship Bhante, say after me. Okasavandami Bhante,
Okasawandami.
Maya Katam Punyang,
Maya katam punyam.
Samina Anumoditabang,
Samina anumoditabang.
Samina Katam Punyang,
Samina katam punyam.
Mayanda Tabang,
Mai handatabang.
Sad Sadhu Anumodami,
Sadhu, sadhu, anumodami.
Okasadwaratina,
Okasadwaratena.
Katan Sabang Achayang,
Katam sabam atayam.
Amatame Bhante,
Kamatame bante.
Okas Kamami Bhante,
Okasamami.
Nutiyampi Okas Kamami Bhante, Satyampi Okas Kamami Bhante. Sukhi May the triple gem bless you all. Namo Buddhaya.
Nama Buddhaya. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.